ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Technology Officer, SAP, Björn Goerke.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to SAP TechEd 2018 in Barcelona. It's so great to have you all here for 3 days of learning, of sharing, of innovating, and networking together. I know there's this giant elephant in this hall here. Will this be another movie show? I know some people will be totally relieved. Some people will be disappointed. But as you can see, it won't be a movie show. I'm just here today as myself. It's a little bit of disappointment, I know. You might think that the past keynotes were all about movie stories, but they actually weren't. They were actually all linked to childhood dreams of mine to come true. The dream to be the first human on another planet. The dream to sit in a DeLorean time machine. And the ultimate dream to be Captain Kirk on the bridge of the USS Enterprise and together with my crew explore strange new worlds. I was born 3 months after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had set the first steps of humankind on the moon. But look at this picture that I recently stumbled over on Twitter. The bright dots are Earth and the moon, as seen from Mercury. Look how little we have actually traveled and how much is still out there to be explored. Now, I hope my mom is not watching, and please don't tell her. But when I was a child, that height, and I know that's hard to believe today, I used to get up in the middle of the night, put a chair underneath the rooftop window in my bedroom, and step onto it to be able to stand there and watch out and watch the stars. I was wondering how things would be up there. How other planets would look like. How would it be to live there? How would you get there? And what would it take? But since my dreams of being on Captain Kirk's team or Han Solo and Chewie coming down with the Millennium Falcon to pick me up weren't supposed to become anytime true, I decided I wanted to at least become an astronaut. But as so many kids growing up, and maybe there's a few of you here in this hall as well, I didn't follow that dream of mine. But what stayed with me was curiosity and the passion to go beyond the known boundaries. So when I ran into that picture of Earth and the moon, as seen from Mercury, I was wondering, what would it take to really become an astronaut? And these days, you can actually Google it. So I Googled it and see what NASA has published. Well, I have a diploma in computer science, so the bachelor, check, done. I have been captain on the bridge of the USS Enterprise, so experience on the job, check, done. I'm a marathoner, so I bring reasonable fitness, so also that one, check, done. But seriously, what if all of us could become astronauts? And even if just for a day? Not because we don't like it here, where we are, but because we're curious to find out what lies beyond. That's what dreams are about. Imagine what we would find. Imagine what we could learn. Imagine what we may do with this knowledge, with this additional intelligence. It's that kind of curiosity that has brought us all the amazing breakthroughs that we take for granted today. For example, electricity, cars, smartphones, and probably the most important ones of them all, which are ABAP. No, just kidding. SAP HANA. It got me thinking. When you are curious, you learn more, and you do more with this knowledge. So curiosity feeds intelligence. Can the same be said for enterprises? Can enterprises become curious too? Can they constantly strive to learn and gain insights? At SAP, we believe they can. We call it the intelligent enterprise. But why should enterprises become intelligent? Why do they even need all this knowledge and capabilities? What has changed? Now, it's because today's enterprise landscapes, companies are facing new challenges and business needs from all directions. The enterprise itself is generating an overwhelming amount of data, and it's facing pressure to improve productivity. Employees are demanding more purpose from their work and bring a new set of skills to the workforce. At the same time, your competitors are not sleeping. They are gaining momentum through consolidation and disruptive business models. And finally, your end customers will only be loyal to your company and your products if you provide a perfect customer experience. Now, intelligent enterprises adopt innovative solutions and technologies that help them solve these challenges and deliver game-changing outcomes. They operate with three elements. First, they operate with visibility that allows them to collect and connect data that was previously siloed in their organizations, and they can start recognizing unseen patterns within it. Second, they operate with focus. They can simulate the impact of potential options, and they can take real-time decisions, such as directing resources where they can create the most impact. And thirdly, they operate with agility. They respond faster to changes in the marketplace or the business, and they pivot their business processes towards the right customer outcomes. Now, intelligent enterprises differentiate through key capabilities, and they deliver game-changing outcomes. They achieve a step change in productivity, they redefine the end-to-end customer experience, and they transform their workforce engagement. Our mission at SAP is to help our customers to achieve all of this at once. Our mission is to deliver the intelligent enterprise. And today, I want to take you on a tour, on a journey, and show you the intelligent enterprise. An intelligent enterprise, for us, comprises three elements. First, the intelligent suite. Second, a digital platform underneath. And third, embedded intelligent technologies. Let's start by zooming in on the first one, intelligent suite. What is the intelligent suite? It's SAP's integrated business applications with intelligence infused throughout, which enables our customers to automate their day-to-day business processes and better interact with their customers, suppliers, and employees. Let me give you an example. Think about the modern workforce of today. They are looking for flexibility and new working options. They want meaningful work that allows them to believe in the purpose of the company. They want an environment that actually supports their well-being, tools that work, solutions that make their life and work easier and help them be more productive. And what does that mean for the enterprise? It means that different departments have to seamlessly work together. HR, procurement for the sourcing and management of external workers, and of course finance to keep costs under control and manage those projects. You need connected processes and reliable data from across the organization to match your people strategy to the demand of your business. And there's a need for intelligent business systems that know which steps make sense in a business process, which decisions need to be taken, and what information is needed to execute on them. At SAP, we call this total workforce management process. Total workforce management involves multiple steps from different applications. Here's Sindhu to give us a lab preview of how this could look like. Sindhu, at the Space Agency, how do you manage the staffing process? How does that look like? How do you manage open positions? Do you have an open position to hire an astronaut, for example?
I know you're looking for an open position for an astronaut. But first of all, at the Space Agency, what we're doing, Björn, is that we want to look at a modern workforce. And when we talk about a modern workforce, there's three main elements what we are focusing on. First of all, it's important that our business strategy and our IT goals go hand in hand. The second aspect is, like Björn mentioned, for us it's super important that we're talking about end-to-end integrated business processes that go across our multiple departments, be it finance, be it procurement, or even HR. And third, what is super important is to have a fantastic, delightful, unified, and consistent experience. So let's look at how things work at the space agency. And as I'm the commander-in-chief of the space agency, I need to have a complete overview of how my department is doing, how are we doing with regards to financial status, how is my recruitment status doing as well. So let me drill down into the financial reporting, and what I see here is an overall breakdown of my project costs. I see that my project costs are all in line. Particularly, I'm interested in my Mars mission because I just want to make sure that we are in check, we are in budget, and that looks pretty good. And what you also see is the cross-embedded analytics with which I'm able to predict any kind of indicators that I need to react upon. What I also see is the flights per year seems to be going down as compared to what we had planned. And however, the flight cost and all that looks pretty good. Now, before I try to understand why the flights per year seem to be going down, it's particularly probably maybe because we need to hire the right astronauts. And I want to actually go back and check quickly how my personal profile is doing. Because I recently acquired some new language skills, believe me or not. I want to make sure that my personal profile shows that. Okay, that's good. My skills are all updated. Everything looks really good here. But what I'd also like to do is how my overall organizational chart looks like and how my team is doing. So that's the brilliant team that I work with. And I can see that I have a good overview on the number of astronauts that I need, coach. Okay, we have a good balance in the team. However, we need to increase the number of astronauts. But I also know that given that we are onboarding some astronauts, I need to have some physical instructors to get our astronauts totally fit for the mission, Björn. So let me see how that looks like. If I just look at my position org chart, what I see here is a good overview where I see that I have one position for an open astronaut, Björn. That's something you could apply for.
I will.
And this is a full-time position that I'd like to hire within my team. And what I also see is 2 open positions for physical instructors. Like I said, we need to get our astronauts in top condition. But what I'd like to do is, for this particular position, because it's a temporary position, the physical instructors come in, train up our astronauts, and that should be good. I'd like to actually go in and see, oh, this position has been open for the last 45 days. I'd like to fill it with an external hire. So I'd like to go in with a contingent worker for this and create a requisition. What you're seeing here is one unified view. Does not matter if I want to hire a full-time employee or even a contingent worker, one place where I can go in and do that. I can create a requisition. Yes, that's for a 6-month period. That's really good. And I can go ahead and submit this requisition. Finally, what I'd like to do is go into my financial statement and see how are we still doing. So this is a simulation that allows me to still see that I'm still in line with my overall costs. So that looks really good. So what you've seen, ladies and gentlemen, is a very quick glimpse of what the Intelligence Suite is all about and how the modern workforce has manifested itself with that end-to-end integration, built-in infused intelligence, and a unified experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Zindu. I will definitely apply on that position. Thank you. Yeah, this is only a glimpse of the SAP Intelligence Suite, our intelligent and integrated, as you have seen, line of business applications that redefine the value customers can get from enterprise software that supports an end-to-end process. Total workforce management is one example of the intelligent business processes that we deliver. Now, this brings me to the second element of the intelligent enterprise, the digital platform. To unleash the full potential of an intelligent enterprise, we believe you need a strong digital platform underneath, which is made up of 2 parts. First, it's the HANA Data Management Suite. As a complete solution, a single point of trust to manage, to collect, to connect, and to orchestrate the entire enterprise data landscape. And second, it's the SAP Cloud Platform that enables integration and extension of processes in the Intelligence Suite, as well as creating new experiences and building completely new, innovative business applications. Now, Bernd showed the power of the digital platform in great detail at TechEd Las Vegas already, so I won't repeat it this time. What I want to focus on is integration. Integration, as we know, has a major role to play in the intelligent enterprise. Now, what we saw in the previous example that Zindu showed is that we at SAP integrate our line of business solutions out of the box as part of the intelligent suite. But we do recognize the fact that customers don't always use only SAP, and that being open to other solutions is key to their success and our success. That's why we put a lot of effort in opening up our systems and solutions with open APIs. In the meantime, we have over 5,000 customers integrating SAP applications via SAP Cloud Platform integration services. And we're constantly working on developing our integration capabilities further, for example, by embedding intelligence. As part of this journey, we introduced SAP Cloud Platform Open Connectors with over 150 third-party connectors based on RESTful APIs. Those connectors provide normalized authentication, error handling, search, and connectivity completely regardless of the underlying third-party service architecture. This drastically reduces the time to connect to those third-party applications. And to make things even simpler, we also provide SAP Cloud Platform Integration Content Advisor that uses machine learning to automate data structure mappings between systems and streamline the integration process. Zindu, our SAP Space Agency, works with 100 of third-party suppliers. How do you integrate all of them?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Björn. So when we talk about an intelligent enterprise, we're talking about an integrated enterprise. And when we talk about integration, what that translates for us is that we're talking about out-of-the-box integration. We're talking about open integration, which means we are able to connect to any application out there via the open connectors, open APIs. Third, we're talking about holistic integration. We need to support any type, style of integration, different deployment options, as well as the different personas that come into play when we talk about integration. And four, we're infusing intelligence into the core of integration. I'm talking about the Cloud Platform Integration Suite, which is SAP's Enterprise Integration Platform as a Service. Let me take a look and show you how this is being applied at our space agency. So what you're seeing here on the screen is the home page of the SAP Cloud Platform Open Connectors, which is a core piece of SAP Cloud Platform Integration Suite, which we are using at our space agency. And what you see here are the connectors, which connect to more than 150 plus non-SAP cloud and on-premise applications. Through this, I can connect to document hubs. So I have, with a single click, access to any kind of document hubs that exist out there. I can connect to social channels, and here you go, you have connectors to social channels, or I can even connect to any kind of financial hubs. This is important for us at Space Agency because we're working with very specialized suppliers who are giving us access to very specialized products that our astronauts need. Like one of these suppliers is using QuickBooks. Now, QuickBooks is a third-party solution that started off as a financial system, but then went on to build order management solutions. So one of our suppliers is using QuickBooks, and I can go in and activate my QuickBook instance. And now when I activate that instance, I'm able to connect to that instance, and it's a normalized API that I have here for me, which means irrespective of what QuickBooks changes on the API, this API is the normalized API that I can connect to. I can go into the API docs and pick up the particular API that I'd like to use. I'm using the estimates API because I'd like to, and by the way, estimates is equivalent to a purchase order. That already explains the difference in the business semantics that business applications have. So I can go in there, try it out very quickly, and this is the API that I'd like to connect to. And since I want to do that, what I now need to do is, because I want to connect to my supplier, I can use the Integration Content Advisor, which is also part of the Cloud Platform Integration Suite. And the Integration Content Advisor is a revolutionary service because it brings together the power of machine learning and crowdsourcing to very quickly accelerate and simplify integration for me. So what I can do here is go in and create a mapping guideline, and now as the source interface, I can go in and add my purchase order API that's from the space agency, and as target, I'll pick that QuickBooks API that we saw in the previous step. I'll go ahead and create that mapping guideline, and now the integration content advisor uses a very detailed set of business semantic context information to actually go and generate that mapping proposal for me. So I can go in here and ask the service to generate a proposal, and now what's happening behind the scenes, it's using that crowdsourced information which is anonymously indexed into our repository using the information from the machine learning algorithms, and it's actually generating this proposal. I can select the best proposal here, and there you go. It's so simple that you can already go in there and see what the system has proposed for you based on those business semantic information that you have. I can go in and also simulate my mapping, so the actual data is actually populated for that mapping proposal. And as a business expert, I can then go and edit it and extend it to suit my specific needs, or if it works really fine, I can just go in and save, which actually triggers the runtime artifacts that is needed on cloud platform integration to actually run through that integration. Finally, I can also go in and create my documentation, which allows me, for those of you who know about integration governance and the challenges, it's a blessing when I have this documentation. So what you've seen is how we have simplified and accelerated integration with the intelligent enterprise. And using the Cloud Platform Integration Suite, you've seen how we at the Space Agency can talk to any supplier that exists out there.
Sindhu, this is unbelievable. It again proves that any sufficiently sophisticated technology can't be distinguished from magic. This is really awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, SAP knows we have proof we are not alone in the universe. SAP Cloud Platform Open Connectors therefore accelerates third-party integration. It simplifies the creation of cross-system business processes and increases your business agility. We're doing this by providing open connectors and applying machine learning to automate the complex mapping between different systems with our integration content advisor. Now, some people say that data is the new oil. I believe master data is the lifeblood of business processes. As a digital business platform, SAP Cloud Platform offers master data management services so customers can centrally manage master data. The goal is not to have several entities for a business partner or a product. The goal is common master data across SAP and non-SAP systems that can be extended and enriched across all applications. These MDM services will also fully integrate into our master data governance product. And we ourselves, SAP, use those MDM services on the cloud platform to deliver our integrated intelligent suite. And customers, of course, can do the same and build their own connected cross-line of business solutions. We also mentioned how intelligent enterprise must be agile to innovate with faster time to market and focus on things that matter most. One of the common related requests we get from customers and partners are support and guidance for developing business applications with cloud native and enterprise qualities. This is because developers focus challenges as complexity in developing applications based on data models from different applications rise to the surface, and there is no simple way to create interoperability between those different stacks. This leads to a lack of focus on the business problem and domain, and it prolongs your time to market. SAP Cloud Platform Application Programming Model was created to address exactly those challenges. It's a consistent end-to-end programming model for enterprise services and applications featuring a full-stack development experience. And the framework consists of several elements. First, there's Core Data Services, or CDS. Remember that one. It plays a major role in our strategy, which adds domain focus and acts as the glue between different data models and services. We have service SDKs, software development kits, for providing and consuming services in Java and Node.js. And we have a foundation underneath that allows you to build resilient, microservice-based applications where the foundation relieves you from writing all the necessary boilerplate code. It also provides true openness for developers with out-of-the-box support for SAP Fiori, but also other UI technologies and frameworks. It provides out-of-the-box support for SAP HANA, but also other databases. And it allows you to easily create S/4HANA extension scenarios. Jana, in case my astronaut application is not successful with the SAP Space Agency, which I can't really believe, but in the unlikely case, can I at least book a flight to Mars as a passenger?
Yeah, of course. Our space agency is not only running the missions, but we are selling passenger seats to go to Mars as well. So there's your plan B. Obviously, we need a booking application for that, and this is very custom and specific to the space agency. This has been developed on top of SAP Cloud Platform. Björn talked about the SAP Cloud Platform application programming model and master data management reuse services. So let's see how those help here. This is my booking application, as said, running on Cloud Platform. And you can see, we see a couple of bookings that have been done already, and we can now book a new trip. So let's go from Cape Canaveral to Mars. That's probably something you want to take. But you can see the passenger information. Well, it doesn't have any kind of input field, and logically, this information we don't want to store locally only within the application. Passenger is really the master data that we would like to use here and use consistently throughout all the applications within our enterprise. So let's have a look at the design time of this application. So you can see SAP Web IDE, that's our development environment, and this is the structure of the booking application. We can see this has been developed with the SAP Cloud Platform application programming model. So we modeled the according data models, the services, up to the UI with the two views that we've seen beforehand and modeled with Fiori annotations. I'm not going to show you all the structures, but one very central element is really the booking service here, where you can see the entities that are forming our overall booking application. Well, now I would like to extend this with the business partner as a reuse service. Let's have a look at the business partner first. For this, I'm moving to the cockpit. This is the central entry point into SAP Cloud Platform. And you can see I'm subscribed to the master data management service for the business partner. Let me go into the service and let's have a look at the data. So clicking on Go, we can see the entries that are in there. And this is now really the master data that I would like to use within the booking application that we've seen beforehand. To do so, we go back to Web IDE. There you go. And now we would like to include an external data model. Let me use a wizard for this. That makes it pretty easy for me to do so. So I'm selecting the according system. And what I can do now is to connect to this business partner service and just test the result set that I retrieve. So you see, this is all the relevant information that we get via the business partner. And let me now include this into my project. So behind the scenes, this is generating the according JSON files with the structure definitions and links to the central service business partner. So we are not replicating any data here or whatever, but we really just define the model and then link to the remote service that we've seen beforehand, the business partner. Obviously, we now just included the service, but then we have to define where are we going to use this within the booking service and where does it appear within our UI. So let me start off by using the booking service here, and we prepared that a little, so we are a bit faster. So you can see I'm now adding comments to include the extended database model and to have the right entities for the customer in place. I'm going to spare you from looking at how we do this on the UI level, so logically we need to do this as well. And then we can run the application. What this now does is that it pushes the application to SAP Cloud Platform, Cloud Foundry. Well, if this happened, then let's look at our target application and go to the right tab. So this is now the deployed target application with the change applied. You see the start screen naturally looks quite similar, but here you can see the difference. So we can now use the F4 help for our passenger information. We get the central reuse service business partner in here, and this is exactly the entries that we've seen beforehand from the master data management service. And let's pick Björn so he can take the passenger seat to the mission to Mars. So, in summary, I've shown you how you can add in 3 minutes a reuse service like the business partner to our own application, and thus ensure consistency of the data across our intelligent enterprise. So Björn, what about booking a passenger seat on a mission to Mars via our space agency?
This is fantastic as a plan B, but I will still apply for the job. Thank you very much, Jana. I can only encourage you, this is out on the SAP Cloud Platform. Check it out. Michael Wintergerst and team have done a fantastic job to make the development of microservices-based applications, cloud-native architectures in an enterprise environment so much more easy with all those tools and all those capabilities. Now with SAP Cloud Platform application programming model, we bring true openness to the development process. We can mesh services from different data models, breaking the silos between applications, and all of that with a single clean programming model. We've seen master data management in action, but SAP offers an increasing number of further reusable business services, and that's a journey we will continue, and as we go through the year, through Sapphire and TechEd, you will see more and more services popping up here that provide real business semantics and business capabilities to allow you to more easily develop your applications and not be required to focus on building all these things yourself. Now, another critical element in intelligent applications is the ability to respond to business events happening in all your IT solutions. But business events are like a treasure trove that customers couldn't always unlock successfully and use efficiently in their applications. Now, what we do is we simplify this challenge, and this is why we introduced SAP Cloud Platform Function as a Service. Just for the record, I think that's a weird name, but that's what the industry calls this. Function as a service uses serverless concepts, another weird term, to simplify the extension of an application. And it enables you to subscribe to SAP and non-SAP business events to perform custom activities while keeping the company's digital core source code clean. Sounds weird? Jana, show us.
Of course. We at SAP Space Agency are always looking at ideas how to make our setup more efficient. We leverage more and more contingent workers, like the physical instructors that we've seen beforehand. But what we hear from the crews is that when those people enter the building, the crews wonder, who are those new colleagues and what qualifications do they have? One idea that we would like to realize now is to send an update to the Slack channel that the team uses. So you can see this is our Slack channel. And we would like to introduce the new contingent workers for our teams there. I would like to develop this as a function. And we only want to execute the relevant coding once those new contingent workers are hired. This already explains the main concept of functions. We have coding for my application logic and a trigger that causes the logic to be executed. The trigger is typically an event which marks a significant change, like hiring a contingent worker. So overall, this is an event-driven concept that actively informs and no need to poll the data all the time. Well, how can I now find the relevant event? For that, let me show you a lab preview of API Hub containing the events. And you can see here a list of events, and for us, the business partner is the relevant one, because when we hire a contingent worker, a business partner gets created in S4 as well. So this can trigger our function to do the magic and the real coding. And here you can see the data that is then transmitted via this function. So we see the business partner as the key ID that is relevant here. Good. To leverage this, let me go again to Web IDE and create a new project now. Because we would like to create a function, we pick the according template. You can see this is in beta now, and the wizard guides me through the process to create this function very nicely. So let me give the right names. And of course, the trigger needs a good name as well. And as said, we don't want to use HTTP as a trigger type, but an event that is now going to cause this. And here we see one of the key differentiators of SAP Cloud Platform functions. Because we have a deep integration into our intelligence suite, we can pick exactly the events that we've seen beforehand, and now we would like to move ahead and use the business partner created. Doing so, we can now finalize the wizard, and this is going to generate the whole structure of the project and some default codings in there. So let's first have a glimpse on the trigger. So this is what got created because I picked the according trigger, and then we see here the index JavaScript file. So there you see one of these central elements, which is function, which then will give you the parameters event and context. And what we get passed here is the data and metadata from this event. So in our case, it would be primarily the business partner ID and employee ID as an associated field. Well, I'm not going to do live coding now, so let me just put in the relevant coding for our case. And what our coding does is that it generates a text message onto Slack, which will bring a welcome message, gets the business partner ID, and then gets the relevant name and information from S4 and Fieldglass with according API calls. Probably I should save that as well. And then we can deploy the function project into the according destination. When deploying the function project, what this does is that it deploys the coding, the trigger, and the secrets into the according container images on Kubernetes clusters in SAP Cloud Platform. So only when the event itself is happening, so in our case, when we onboard new contingent workers and the business partner gets created, then the container images are instantiated and run during the function execution. This way, it can scale to high workloads elastically, and there's no execution and resources happening when there's no function calls and no events being triggered. Good, let's look at the result, what we've done. Let's hire a contingent worker. And in parallel, we should have a view onto our Slack channel to see what's happening there. So you can see that on the right-hand side. Now, let's look into contingent workers, and Jason Nichols looks like a good candidate, so let's hire him. And once we go ahead, this is now going to cause the event to happen. Behind the scenes, the resources get allocated, the function gets executed, the business partner name is fetched from S4, and Fieldglass will bring us all the according skills. And you can now see the post just appeared in the way that we developed the function. So I have shown you how easy it is to create a function in SAP Cloud Platform that gets triggered by S/4HANA Cloud events. And we have implemented very quickly a nice functionality that increases our team productivity without the need to change our core S4 system. So once you're part of the crew, you always know who are the people around you.
Thank you, Jana. Now I also understand. Round of applause. Sorry. Now I also know why it's called function as a service, because a function gets called based on a business event, and it's serverless because you don't have to worry about any of the deployment that is happening behind the scenes and how actually a server executes your function. So now it makes sense. Now, as Jana has shown us, function as a service is using advanced serverless concepts and Kubernetes and messaging and PubSub under the hood. But for SAP, it's not only about the technology, which is exciting, but it's about what it actually enables you to do. Function as a service allows us to give customers a simple and decoupled way to extend applications based on business events outside of the core system, so you can keep the core clean. Can we repeat that? Let's keep the core clean. Everybody, let's keep the core clean. Okay, we have to practice that one. This is a great way to build agile and responsive applications. Now, let's move to the third element of the intelligent enterprise, and that is intelligent technologies themselves. Last year, when we introduced SAP Leonardo, we introduced a set of technologies. And now, with the Intelligent Suite, we are actually infusing SAP Leonardo technologies right into the core of our applications. Technologies like SAP Leonardo Machine Learning, IoT, advanced analytics, embedded in our applications, enables our customers to use their data to detect patterns, to predict outcomes, and to suggest actions. SAP Analytics Cloud provides enterprises with the visibility they need into their business processes, allowing them to predict outcomes and to take real-time decisions regarding the things that matter the most. Jana will show us how the SAP Space Agency stays on top of all their mission control projects using SAP Analytics Cloud. Jana, all yours.
At the beginning, Zindu showed her team and hiring activities. But let's look at this globally on company level. To get all the relevant information for analytics purposes for our space agency, you have to work with different systems like SuccessFactors, S4HANA, Fieldglass, and so on. But SAP Analytics Cloud brings them together in one dashboarding environment. And you don't have to be a data scientist to find the information and correlations that you're looking for. Imagine I'm responsible for our workforce setup in the space agency and the budget in Europe. I regularly check my dashboards for my main KPIs. So let's move there. Let's have a look. We go into my analytics tile, and here we can see my main dashboard. So I can see, well, that looks quite good. Operating revenues are constantly increasing, so I'm quite happy. But let me look at operating expenses as well. Okay, those are increasing too. Well, what about the profit? If we go into the profit, then my picture changes, because obviously we seem to have a steady decline. Now, we should dig a bit more deeper and not only visualize the data, what we've done till now, but use a bit more intelligence. Let me use some smart assist features in SAP Analytics Cloud, because they help us to unveil hidden insights, detect outliers, key influencers, and do some forecasting. Let's use them here. I would like to forecast this value and see what's happening. By using the automatic forecasting, we are using HANA Advanced Predictive Libraries, and we are going to see how the time series data is analyzed according to trends and cycles. And you can see there's a value set and some lower and upper confidence bounds of what might happen. And well, I really should take some action, because obviously we see that the forecast shows a decreasing trend. So let's dive now into this. Let me go into Europe and drill into this continent and our countries here. And there we can see, well, in Spain we have quite some significant operating expenses. What I would like to use now is smart insights, because this under the hood uses powerful machine learning algorithms. And this is going to uncover the top contributors of the selected value here. So it shows the highest contribution of the data point being analyzed. So what we can see, not a big surprise, research and development for an aerospace company is quite significant. But then I would have expected the crews come in second, so paying your salary, Björn. But obviously we have public relations coming in second, which is a bit awkward, right? Public relations usually doesn't use a lot of material or assets, so it must be people that cause the costs here. To figure out what is happening here and to get a deeper insight, I would like to use a very cool feature which is called Search to Insight. And Search to Insight brings conversational artificial intelligence into the game. So I can ask a question in natural language about what I'm interested in. So let me say I want to understand public relations FTE by employment level. And you can see, well, not a big surprise. Typically, that's full-time employees and a couple of contingent workers supporting them. We've seen that specifically in Spain, we seem to be going out of bounds with our expenses. So let me look what is special about Spain. And we already get some input help here. And you can then see, well, in Spain, we have quite a lot of contingent workers on this position. And of course, contingent workers are paid on an hourly basis. So that might be a very relevant cost factor. Luckily, we're in Spain today, so I can follow up with the team directly. To avoid this in the future and to get all the information at hand, I can create a dashboard like this, which will give me an overview of the employment status in the different countries and even show a very nice map that indicates where do we have which situations on the first site. And of course, I can have some more ratios in here, like managerial employees compared to non-managerial roles, which might have an impact on our cost factors as well. So you have seen that SAP Analytics Cloud helps you to manage your business more effectively by getting the right information at hand and making it easy to ask questions about our space agency, even in natural language. So we can be sure we hire the crew in our space agency that we want to have and that we stay on track with revenue and profit.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you. I was really impressed that actually the system supports you already and makes you proposals on what further on questions to ask. So there's enough intelligence in there to not require you, a data scientist, to dig into the data and do the right reports, but the system actually automatically finds out which algorithms make best sense on the data set you have and point you to anomalies. And the natural language processing, that's really cool stuff because you can start working with your data as if you would Google the internet. So I think we have now seen firsthand how the intelligent enterprise elements all interact with each other. You've also seen indirectly how SAP HANA Data Management Suite powers SAP Analytics Cloud with capabilities to derive insight from SAP solutions like SAP S/4HANA, like SuccessFactors, like Fieldglass, as well as third-party systems. To increase business efficiency and to reduce costly, manual, repetitive work, SAP is pleased to announce the expansion of its machine learning portfolio with Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, RPA. The first product is planned for availability in early 2019, starting with a robot infrastructure for SAP S/4HANA. This sounds like I read it from a press release. No, wait, I did. Normally, I don't want to show you what you can't immediately get your hands on. But as we received a lot of feedback after SAP TechEd Las Vegas to show this in action, I'm excited to say, Zindu, if you have time, show us the lab preview.
Sure. So just to add some more context to what you said, Björn. So complex processes sometimes are super manual. And when it's manual, you all agree that it can be error-prone as well as tedious. Now, we have really powerful workforce resources at our space agency, and we want to make sure that these experts are focusing on real value-added processes. And we want to take away those manual processes, repetitive and tedious processes from them. And this is where the SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation helps us a lot. Now, what you're seeing here is the SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation Studio, where we can go in there and create what we call as bots. Now, these bots are what happens behind the scenes and automated processes. And I can go into my items, and I've already prepared a bot, which is one of a challenge that we have at the space agency, because every time we have a new astronaut coming in, then the manager wants to order exactly the same laptop for that astronaut. Now, this is usually a cumbersome activity where you go into a catalog, find the equipment, and place the order. And now this is something that is a repetitive task, and this bot can exactly do that for me. So let's have a look. And what we've done here is built out this bot, and what it does is mainly get an equipment label image. So you put in a label image, which is a service, and then it's using the machine learning service for object character recognition to read the equipment label. And the workflow continues to have another skill, as we call it, using JavaScript to extract the equipment number and finally place the order. So this bot, as you can see, is a workflow composed of various skills. Now, what I see is also once I get the equipment number, I want to be able to identify the exact material ID that I want to order. So I'd like to add a skill here, so that's why I can go back and create a new skill. I can say new skill and call that material ID now, because that's what I want to look up, and start recording that. And now I have access to pick the application that I want to record that skill from. I'll pick S/4HANA because S/4HANA is the owner of the material master in this case, and go ahead and create that skill, pick that application, and start recording. And now what you see here is the recording panel on the right, which actually now starts recording every activity that I perform. So what I now need to do is go in there and pick my technical object and go into the display object, and I know what is the object that I want to have recorded. So go in there and go into the serial data, and now this is exactly what I need, right? And pick that and save changes, and now I can stop recording. So this has recorded every activity, and now you can see that's created a skill for me. The only thing that now I need to do is go in there and parameterize this, because it's not only for this particular material ID, it has to work with any equipment, right? So I'll parameterize this value in the script and give it a name and call it equipment. And that's about it. And save that skill. Now, I've saved that skill, and I can go back, and what I've done is, to save us some time, I've applied that skill into my bot, and I've used a new one here, and what I can do is go ahead and deploy that bot again. So now this bot is deployed, and once this bot is deployed, that entire activity, what we just automated, is now available. Now to try this out, what I have is a chat bot that lets me go into the chat bot here and ask the chat bot what I'd like to do. I'd like to order a laptop. There you go. What model? Just like mine. I don't want to go to the catalog, right? Just want to do that this way. Okay, send me a picture of your equipment number. I have that already prepared, so that's the equipment number. That's exactly my equipment number that I use. So, and that's what I want the bot to order. So, if the bot works now, what you should see is, there you go. So, the laptop has been ordered for me. So, that's what you saw, a very quick glimpse of the SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, which allows us to automate those very manual, tedious, and erroneous steps or processes, which allow us to focus our workforce on much more meaningful and value-added tasks.
Thank you, Zindu. This is really amazing. So what you've seen is a combination of robotic process automation and Copilot, by which SAP is delivering the next generation of business process automation that helps customers achieve a step change in productivity. There it is again, this step change in productivity phrase. Today, you have seen many powerful examples of discoveries we have made on our voyage to the intelligent enterprise. The customer is front and center of our efforts. We want them to have the freedom of choice. We do this in close collaboration with our strategic partners to amplify the value for our customers. I'm pleased to share with you some exciting developments relating our partner collaborations. IBM is now offering SAP Cloud Platform Private Edition for select IBM Cloud customers. The service was initially rolled out in North America, and it provides additional value-added capabilities like SAP S/4HANA extensions, data-driven SAP HANA applications, and integration with IBM Watson services. Atos plans to accept customers in Europe for SAP Cloud Platform Private Edition in 2019 and intends to couple this with their Codex data-driven smart business services for analytics applications. So together with our partner ecosystem, we're all here today because we have a growth mindset. We have to be ready to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn to reach new frontiers. At SAP, we call it learning for life.
We aspire to a world with zero unemployment. That's why SAP created Learning for Life, an inclusive education, training, and workforce readiness initiative. We've unified the best of our learning programs so you can thrive and innovate like never before. with 24/7 access to online content in our SAP Learning Hub. Over 2.5 million enrollments to date in Open SAP, and 1.4 million young people reached globally with our digital skills programs. We're optimistic about the future. We believe the best is yet to come, and the best time to grow is always. So, let's turn our ideals into action. Stay curious, enjoy the journey, and let's get ready to learn, together, for life.
SAP TechEd is all about learning, about education and skills development. But there's a new generation of computer scientists ready to enter the workforce. And for this generation, circumstances are very different to the times when we began our professional careers. Just to clarify, I will not be leaving SAP to become an astronaut. But along the same lines, it is possible that one of our kids, our nieces, our nephews, could be the first person to visit Mars. Imagine that. Imagine getting your rocket license before getting your driver's license. Imagine you had geology training in Iceland where the moonwalkers trained. Imagine completing all 14 NASA space camps and getting the NASA passport. Imagine you were officially certified to go to space. Imagine you were able to apply to be part of the 2033 NASA mission to Mars. And imagine you did all of this by the time you were 17 years old. Now it is my pleasure to introduce someone who did just that. Please welcome on stage youngest astronaut in training, Alisa Carson. Alisa. Hey, great to have you here. Come over. Alisa, I'm in awe. You have my dream resume. This is such a cool job. Take a seat.
Thank you.
Alisa, you are planning to apply for the 2033 NASA mission. I can tell you this is as close as I will ever get to Mars. Let's make it a little bit convenient here. When I was a boy, I was just telling everybody when we introduced it, I was looking at those stars and I was kind of dreaming to become an astronaut, but I never really made it happen. How did you come up with that idea to become an astronaut, and how did you get it started? Did you call NASA?
Well, you know, similar to you, I was super young when I got this interest for space and astronomy. I was around 3 years old, and I was basically just watching some cartoons on the television like, you know, a little 3-year-old girl would do, and these characters went on this imaginary adventure to Mars, and, you know, I wanted to be like friends with them and go on the mission with them. So I started asking my dad and all these questions about space, you know, can people go to Mars? Are people on Mars? Is space real? Like all these curious questions I had, and no one in my family had a space or science background, so from then on I was like, well, I'm going to find out about it. So I started, you know, studying space.
Okay, that's sometimes I dream of this all being kind of very easy and having fun and doing parabolic flights and being kind of in mid-air, you're kind of getting weightless and you can float around. But I think it's actually very hard work. You need to spend a lot of time learning, going into physics and math and things. How do you keep yourself motivated?
I mean, initially when I was a little girl, you know, gained this first interest about space, I really wanted to go to Mars just because, you know, no one had been there before. You know, it's like, sure, that could be a cool place to go, and I had this curiosity of going. But I think as I've gotten older, I've gone through those studies and started going through those educations. I've learned more about the importance of going to Mars and the technologies and the mindset and all the benefits that we can get actually from going on this mission.
So you're now learning Russian. I think it's one of the official languages of space travel that you have to learn. And do you speak other languages as well?
Yeah, so I currently speak English, French, Chinese, and Spanish. Pues yo comencé a hablar español cuando yo tenía solo 6 años. And I am also trying to learn Russian, but it's a pretty difficult language to tackle, so I'll get there one day.
Okay, what other classes do you have to take? It's probably physics, it's chemistry, geology, and other things. I think you're 17 years old, right? Most other students in those classes are probably 10, 15 years, 20 years older maybe than you are. Isn't that kind of sometimes that they look at, oh, this young girl, kind of, what does she have to say? Kind of, is it kind of a difficult work environment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and the trainings that I'm doing now in the Citizen Science program where I'm doing most of my trainings, everyone there is, post-college in their 30s, 40s, and so on. And so, when I first started this program at 15, I was the only 15-year-old, and at first it was pretty intimidating, just because I was like, yikes, like these are all these smart older people who know what they're talking about. But I definitely think that they've kind of, taken me in, and we both have our talents, and we kind of work together as a team. They could be better at more of the studies and classwork because they have that knowledge, and they can help me build on that. But then some of the physical things, I may be able to climb through a capsule more easier than they can. So, we all help each other.
All right. Now, going to Mars, and you are going to apply to NASA for the 2033 mission because you will be right at the right age probably to be one of the crew members there. This sounds super exciting to me. I've been dreaming of that. But frankly, there's also a lot of risk involved, right? There's even missions which plan not to come back from Mars in the first journeys there. How do you think about it? How do you think about maybe taking all that risk and not coming back? What's your thought?
Yeah, definitely. There's different companies that want to do different things in terms of space. Some people want to go to Mars and colonize it and have the first set of astronauts go there. Others want to go and have a return mission and bring, rocks and samples and stuff back to Earth. Obviously I would prefer to come back and share the message about space and bring back some of the rocks and samples to kind of do further research. But I definitely think that if the only option was to go to Mars and live there, I'd still want to go just because the benefits and rewards that we're going to get almost outweighs the risk. There are, things that we still have to figure out, but at the same time, we're basically changing the whole world and uniting to actually achieve such a, amazing achievement.
What advice would you give to any kids watching this keynote today who are thinking about a career in computer science or in any of the sciences? What would you recommend to them?
Yeah, definitely. Starting off, in your day-to-day, like school life and seeing what's available to you is an awesome way to start. And then, seeing which careers kind of match up with what you're interested in, because there's so many possibilities out there, especially for, the upcoming generation. There's going to be jobs that we don't even know of yet. And as they're evolving and developing, we can find out these things. So basically, it's, finding a dream, finding that passion, and working towards that and never letting someone take it away from you. And also just really talking about your dream, talking about your goals, because you really never know when opportunity is going to strike, because you may just be out in the street talking about it and some random person is there to be helpful. Because I know when I was 3 saying, being a little girl saying I wanted to go to Mars, that was about the craziest thing I could have picked to choose for a career. And now it's becoming more and more of a reality. So definitely just always following that dream.
So kids, I hope you haven't listened carefully. One final question. Blueberry. Why is that your nickname for the mission?
Yeah, so Blueberry is my call sign, which is kind of like a nickname, but has to be given to me. And so I got mine the second time I went to space camp, so I was around 8 years old, and I was a pretty short 8-year-old. And I wanted one of these blue flight suits, the one that I'm wearing now.
They look great on you, right?
Thank you. And I actually didn't fit in any of the ones that they had. So my dad, realized I really wanted one. So he found almost like a knockoff brand one, and it was just a really dark shade of blue, just not the right color. So when I was wearing it, I was wearing it all proudly. Everyone told me I looked like a blueberry in it. And so throughout the day, they'd be like, Blueberry, can you go get some napkins or whatever it might be? And I ended up sticking. So now I'm Blueberry.
Okay. Funny. Okay, now we know why it's Blueberry. Alisa, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing it with us. I have a little present for you. You're too young to know what this is. It's a tribble. Take it with you to the mission on Mars. I hope to see your name on the crew list for the first mission to Mars in 2033. We'll remember this keynote here.
We'll scare the next set of astronauts
And don't feed them water. Be careful. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. Alisa. It is rare that I'm speechless, but wow! How can we follow that? There's only one way. ABAP! Yeah! Yay! Before we go to ABAP, I want to tell you a little story about the connection between ABAP and the SAP community. Thomas Grassel, Greg Schmiel, and the team have been working relentlessly, I can tell you, relentlessly hard to make the SAP community experience great again. I know this is not fast enough for some of you, but we're on it, believe us. I think it's a great redesign. We've enabled so much more functionality now that you have been asking for, and we're putting more and more information right at your fingertips because you want to find that information. And there's some good news. Some of you might know what that means. We are re-importing all the archives, so we will get them back. That's a round of applause, please. And then, recently, an iconic blog was posted. It earned him, Harald Cook, more than 27,000 views, a Ripple badge, and the first ever Top Mission Achievers badge. I didn't even know they exist. And after the blog came an even better ABAP workshop between ABAP development, the teams, and the SAP mentors in Walldorf. And the topic was the SAP Cloud Platform ABAP environment. There is a picture how this looked like. There's Harald, by the way. Some of those on the picture are actually here in the audience today and over here. Can we see that? I think that was supposed to be on the camera. There they are. There's Karl, there's Boris, there's Jens and others. But what you may notice from that picture, one mentor is missing, and they put the name in Anne. And I haven't seen her with the mentors today. She's not there. Has anyone seen Anne? Anne, are you sitting anywhere here? Can you raise a hand? Anne?
Hello, I'm here.
Anne, what a surprise.
Hello.
Hey, good to have you here. Wonderful. And for those of you who don't know Anne, this is Anne-Catherine Padereau, a valued SAP mentor and a very, very savvy developer. Anne, the stage is yours.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here and to be able to do the ABAP demo at TechEd. So what I will show you today is how easy it is to consume services on SAP Cloud Platform ABAP environment, enrich it with functionality, and expose it as a Fiori app. We will reuse the same master data management business partner service that we have seen in all the previous demos. So let me start with showing you the service marketplace, where you can now see that ABAP is generally available. And with every ABAP system, there comes a HANA database out of the box. So let me move to the service instances, where you get an overview over all the current instances that's running. We have already prepared an instance for this demo, which is the Space Travel Agency instance. And you can also see the business partner service that I mentioned before. So our development environment is ABAP in Eclipse. So let me switch to Eclipse. Here you can see that I'm already logged on and I'm connected to the Space Travel Agency instance that I just showed you in the cockpit before. Now you probably don't want to see me type a lot of code. So I have already used the SAP community open source ABAP Git project to import all my ABAP entities from a remote repository on github.com, which is what you can see down here. So there are two cool new things in the ABAP environment regarding Git. One of them is that it is now fully integrated into the ABAP environment for code exchange and code versioning. The second cool thing is that SAP is now contributing to the ABAP Git project. Yay! So let's take a look at the imported code, which is based on the new RESTful ABAP programming model. We will start with the core data services, which is represented here in the CDS entity. The entity is already enriched with UI annotations, and we have also enriched it with a manual query. Then we will move to the class, which is where we will call the business partner service to retrieve the data. We do this by calling or using the Cloud Platform Destination service to create a fully typed OData client based on the business partner service. This is the part that you see here. So we now have the data. We have the data model for the UI. So what is left is to expose the service as OData and consume it in a UI. So in the ABAP environment, one way to do this is to use the service bindings. So as we all know, usually, or currently, when we want to check our OData service, either we have to code our own UI to check the data, or we have to open the OData service directly in the browser. Now, another new cool feature with the ABAP environment is that we can now open a preview of the data directly in a Fiori Elements app. So let me do this. And we will open the app, and let me search for the data. As you can see, this is the same data as we have seen in the previous demos. I also said I would enrich the service, so I have done this by creating an action called Call for Assessment, this button here. Now you can see that I find Björn's name in the list, so this means that Björn has passed his physical test and is now ready to be called for an assessment to see if he qualifies to be an astronaut on our next space travel. So let me select Björn, and I will click Call for Assessment, and you can see that an action was triggered on my backend system, oops, on the Cloud Platform instance. So just to summarize quickly what you have seen, the ABAP environment is a fully integrated service offering on SAP Cloud Platform. We are using Git integrated for code exchange and code versioning. And we are using the new RESTful ABAP programming model as a programming model evolution. And then you can also go and try this for yourself in the developer space on the show floor. And to all my mentor friends, I want to apologize for not being there last night at the mentor reception. I was here, but I was also busy flying a drone. So I will see you all on the show floor.
I got an SMS. Hi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Pedro, thank you very much. This is amazing. I got an SMS. I'm invited for the assessment center. We lost all the speaker notes right now. This is a monumental moment. You've seen how we've introduced the SAP Cloud Platform ABAP environment, which will spearhead new cloud approaches for ABAP. Like we've seen with GitHub, driven by the SAP mentors, or new lifecycle management procedures and processes around CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery and deployment. It is still early stages for the SAP Cloud Platform ABAP environment, but we wanted to release it early to give you, our customers and partners, a chance to take a look at it and influence how it evolves. Recently, there has been some active discussion on Twitter about the role of ABAP and non-ABAP environments in the SAP ecosystem. And I only want to say one thing. I believe there is no future with only ABAP, but there is also no future without ABAP. Today, we've also seen that my fascination with space is not likely to end anytime soon. We also saw the intelligent enterprise. It's not light years away. It is here and it's real. The time is now. We showed you that becoming an intelligent enterprise can be done step by step in a modular way, capability by capability. It doesn't have to be a big bang. And SAP wants to be your partner on this journey. And finally, when you start feeling that it's too cozy and warm in your comfort zone, get up, open that rooftop window, and pull up a chair to step on and reach beyond. Let TechEd be that chair. Step on it. Start dreaming about what could be, and be curious how to make it a reality. But it's you who needs to make that first step. Thank you, everybody. Have a great TechEd. Thank you.